Good night, everyone. Where do I point this? Oh, I guess this is not my presentation. If someone can just, I'm just going to start. So I was going to start with story, and the slides would help me, but it's fine. There you go. So I'm going to start with a citizen story, a personal story, and her name is Jane. Jane wakes up every day, 5 a.m. in the morning, and she's always tired. And she has a daughter, who's 5 years old, Catherine, and she's always tired too because they have to wake up really early. Because you see, Jane has a job, a great job. She loves her job. It's very meaningful. It's a good pay. Her co-workers are great. But there's a catch. It's over 100 miles away from her house. So it takes her 2 hours to get there. So they had to start their day pretty early. And her daughter is the first one to get to kindergarten, the last one to leave. And one day, Jane was at work, and she got a call from the school. And, you know, a call from the school on a weekday is not usually a good sign. And they said, your daughter is very sick. She's barfing, you need to, like, does she have any allergies that you know of? And then she already started panicking, and she says, no, not that I know of. And I said, okay, you already called an ambulance, but it should come right away to pick her up. And she's saying, yes, I'm coming, and she's already at the door. She didn't turn off the computer. She didn't say bye to anyone. She just left. But she still have 2 hours between her and her daughter. Well, 1.5. That day was 1.5. And minus $1,000 in speeding tickets. And during this hour and a half, she's so worried that she starts crying and thinking, oh my God, am I going to see my daughter again? She gets there and she's crying so hard that her daughter gets worried. She said, Mommy, are you okay? What's happening? And then she just gives her a hug and says, yes, baby, now it's fine. Now everything is fine. And on the same day, Jane decided to quit her job. And she struggles for a while. After sometimes she finds another job. It's a good job. It doesn't pay as much as the first one, but it's walking distance from her house. So she has 4 extra hours with Catherine every day. And we know this is a normal story. It's a real story. And some of us might think, oh, thank God, this is not happening with me. I already have a place to be. I already can just walk with my daughter, with my family. But when we're talking about sustainable cities, the thing is, we need to question the choices that we are making today and how we are designing our future based on those current choices or lifestyles. So we need to ask ourselves if the questions that the choices that we are making today, they're leading to this scenario or this one. Put it simply, we can ask ourselves, what moves me? And like Jane, there are thousands of stories of people who decided not to use the car every day, that decided to walk or bike or take transit. And there are many different reasons to do that. Some people just wanted to spend more time with family. They need to lose weight. They wanted to save money. They were just scared of driving or too stressed. But there are thousands of stories out there. And there are many of those stories here in London. I don't know if you know, but there are people here who never owned a car, that raise her children, just with bicycles, or people who are in the 50s or 60s and they don't even have a driver's license. In my case, I just wanted to save some money. I was kind of lost in a new city that I was moved to. And by the way, my name is Patricio. I'm 41 years old. I have 3 kids, beautiful children. I have an amazing girlfriend. I started using the bicycle as my main mode of transportation for over 15 years ago. Since 2007, I don't own a car, and in 2016, I decided that London will be my city. But I wanna, and when you're talking about those personal stories, sometimes we don't have, we say, oh, but this is for people. Like, we need to think about how to keep the economy running. So I wanna tell you a corporate story, kind of a personal story. So there's a guy in 2006. He was one of 3 employers of a company of 900 people that bike to work. And one day, someone told him, he was walking his bike in the underground garage, and someone said, hey, good job, you're biking to work. And in another week, someone said, how do you do this? How do you bike to work? So he decided to start a bike to work day in his company. And his manager said, no, we're not doing bike to work day, but you can show a movie about that. And he was disappointed, but he showed a movie, and it turned out it was a good idea, because a lot of people, they weren't prepared to bike to work. After that, they kept doing other events, just bike-related art shows, another movie, community support groups to help people to learn how to ride a bike. Eventually, they have, from 3 employees, they had 5, 10, 15, 20, 50. And in 2016, there are over 100 people biking to work on that company. The savings, just personal savings, was in the 6-digit range, and over 20 tons of GHG emissions every year that they were preventing. The company won a national award for sustainability and corporate social responsibility. And in 2016, 3 months after winning the award, the guy who started the program in 2006 decided to move to Canada. His name is Patricio. And every company could benefit from promoting biking to his employees. And there's one specific institution that could really skyrocket the number of cyclists in any city, and those are the universities. Because their population is just ideal. There's a huge number of young people who just moved to another city, so they're open to try new things. They don't have very strong family responsibilities. They want to save some money, and it's great to hear that now at Western we have the WATS, the Western Active Transportation Society. I'm really excited to see what those guys can do. Also, not only about employees and students, any business could really benefit. Any project that implemented cycling infrastructure in cities, they promoted, they boost the business. But we still need to prove that every time. And then there's a third story that didn't happen that long ago. That was 2014, 15. Typical story of any city, abandoned public spaces, and then a group of people came to the mayor and said, hey, we would like you to do something about that. Can you fix the problem? And they said, we're too busy. We can do that, but maybe 2 or 3 years from now. So they said, can we do it? And then the city said, eh? No one ever asked them that. But then they decided to let the group create. And those groups, there were cyclists. And usually don't cite Brené Brown in a transportation or sustainable talk, but being a cyclist is being vulnerable, is being exposed, is to be connected with the community. So those people that are connected to the community, they wanted to do something about that. 7 months later, that abandoned space was transformed into a vibrant public space, and was all built by a community. They actually built the square. They paved, they built the wall, they did everything. and business thrive on that specific spot in the city. And like that, also so many examples here in Canada and all over the world of community stories. They're creating more sustainable cities. Our last story, it's not really a story, I'm just going to mention a few cities. The main one, New York, the transformation that they did, implementing so many public spaces for people and for bikes, for people walking and cycling, taking back spaces that we have just a few people driving, and turning into space there's so many people just enjoying the city. And then you have Copenhagen, London, Portland, and Bogota. Bogota not only implemented hundreds of cycle lanes and a beautiful BRT system, they have a serious World Car-Free Day. You have from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m., they block over 100 streets in the city. It's like blocking Highbury, Wellington, and Warncliffe, and all the main roads for people to walk, bike, and just be in the streets. And I told those 4 stories, and I just want to point out that those changes, they're not separate. I'm telling, they just irradiate from different places, but they're all connected. The city stories, individual stories, corporate community, they all influence each other. And they all have the bike in common, and the bike is connected to so many issues, so many topics, so many things that's related to sustainable cities. So shift happens in every level, individual level, community level, corporate level, city level. But I want you, as James asked me to do, I want to do a call to action in my last 50 seconds that I have. The first one is for people who don't ride bikes and they're not planning to start riding one. You could explore this presentation. I'm going to share this on our website, londoncyclelink.ca, with all the links to the references I made here. You can check our newsletter, Facebook, YouTube. You can join the conversation. We're going to have an event next Saturday, and it's called What Moves You. It's a live event. It's a panel event, and we also have some videos on YouTube. You can check that out. You can visit a shop. We have a bike shop, a bike op shop, and we'd love you to have you there. And you can become a paid member, of course, because the best place to drive a car, for example, is the Netherlands. So definitely, if you're a driver, you definitely should support cycling. We have a call to action for people who want to start riding a bike, for people who already ride a bike. My time is over. And just the last one, if you wanted to do some more, you can just come and help us advocate, become a bike mentor, and volunteer at our co-op. Oh, and you're hiring too. So, anyone interested?